Can I have your attention, please? We were shooting for 6:40 and we made 6:45, which is pretty good for this large of a group. So, I'm Hal Davidson, chairman of Planning Fields Foundation, and I want to welcome you all here tonight. Thank you for coming. Thank you for supporting Planning Fields, and what an evening. We've been planning this event for over 18 months, and there are a long list of people that we would like to thank. And two of the most important are here in the front row, Claudio and Deborah, who are the hosts this evening. So, I have to admit this is my first visit as well, as I think it is for a lot of people here, and you did not disappoint. It's to have a nice Olmsted property as our neighbor on this side and on that side. It's terrific, and we just couldn't be happier to be here, and it's so appropriate for an Olmsted 200 celebration to start on this property, so thank you. The next group of people I really think deserves a pat on the back and a real thank you, particularly for me, is our board. We've worked hard to build the Board of Planning Fields over the years, and I think we're the strongest we've ever been. And this is one of the largest board turnouts we've had for an event. And I'd just like to read off the people that were here. And when I'm done, if they would just stand for a brief moment so you could take a look at these people, I would appreciate it. Alphabetical order, nothing intended other than that. Bruce Addison, Bernadette Castro, Deborah DeVecchio. Let me get my glasses on. Tim Dooley, Bob Foshee, C.C. Haydock, Mike Kempner, Mary McDonald, Bob Mackay, who was here earlier, who had to depart, Jeff Moore, Duncan Sonner, Stephen Waters, and Amy Hsu. If you just stand for 2 seconds, we'd... So without a board of this capability and resources, we couldn't do what we do. So we appreciate it. Thank you very much for serving. The last group I'm going to mention, and then I'm going to quickly sit down, is our staff, ably led by Gina Wouters, our amazing president and CEO. This has been the most ambitious endeavor that we've ever undertaken here at Planning Fields, and I think it's really quite appropriate because Planning Fields, as some of you know, is the second largest private existent Olmsted Commission ever done. We're a little smaller than the Biltmore in Asheville, but we're right up there. So, I hope you enjoy the symposium, which starts tomorrow. Over the weekend, we have 2 days of private tours at really amazing Olmsted properties here on New York that are closed to the public in most instances, but we've arranged for them to be open. So I hope you will take part of that. And that's enough of me. Gina Wouters.
Hello, thank you, Hal, and all the members of the Planning Fields Foundation Board of Trustees for your steadfast support of everything Olmsted. We've been talking about this for a very long time, and this moment is here, so I just want to look around the room and see all your faces and take this in, because this is a very special moment. We have the really good fortune to be together at La Selva, which is Italian for the forest, and for the next 2 days for the symposium, we'll be across the street at Planting Fields, Both are spaces that have names full of evocation and escapism. It's a very appropriate setting for John Dixon Hunt's lecture shortly on placemaking. So tonight kicks off 5 days of learning about, visiting, and celebrating Olmsted landscapes on Long Island. And on behalf of Planting Fields Foundation, thank you so much for joining the festivities. So Planting Fields, a 409-acre estate across the street, was created by the Coe family over 100 years ago as their country escaped from the city. Today it exists, as Hal said, as one of the largest extant residential commissions the firm created. Of course, there's a much longer layered history before the Coes entered the picture, but the site we steward today was largely envisioned by the landscape team, the designers, artists, architects that the Coes hired, among these, of course, the Olmsted Brothers firm. The Coes also had the foresight to gift the site to the state of New York upon W.R. Coe's death in 1955, and so it's existed as a public site for nearly 7 decades. Planting Fields Foundation is proud to partner with New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation in preserving the site while also ensuring its vibrancy and relevance. As we work to revitalize various garden compositions and vistas created by the Olmsted Firm, we also think about the site's vitality by inviting living artists to create site-specific work and by hosting various festivals, 5Ks, exhibitions, and other educational programming that in total serve about 200,000 people a year. I'd like to recognize and welcome our friends and representatives from New York State Parks. We are fortunate to have Commissioner Eric Kulised with us here tonight, who you'll hear from shortly. He has brought great vision and leadership to the agency, which includes over 200 parks and historic sites. Is that correct? Welcome Daniel McKay as well, Welcome to Daniel McKay, Deputy Commissioner for Historic Preservation, and Chip Gorman, where are you, over there, Long Island Regional Director for Parks, who together are the single most important advocates for planting fields within the New York State Park system. So we're really fortunate to have them here tonight. I'd also like to, okay, yes. I'd like to recognize Planting Fields Arboretum Director Vinnie Simeone, who we work with closely on the data management of the site, and someone who wears many hats, but certainly 2 for Planting Fields now, former Parks Commissioner Bernadette Castro, who is our newest member of the board. So a confluence of factors unite us this week. 2 key pieces include the creation of the first cultural landscape report for Planting Fields, which was created in 2019 by Heritage Landscapes, and the development of Olmsted 200 through the leadership of our friends at the National Association for Olmsted Parks. The CLR, though, really marked a major inflection point for our site. The fact that Planting Fields is an Olmsted design site is a reality that was hardly understood until the CLR put that in front of us. Since then, we've been on a journey of rediscovery and are working hard to recapture the Olmsted design, or the spirit thereof, for the site. As we realized how involved the firm was in shaping Planting Fields, we wanted to better understand the very context that we were part of. We asked ourselves, how does the concept of preservation apply to a living landscape, albeit one that's highly designed? How do we adapt the hyper-exclusive making of Planting Fields to ensure its inclusivity for the public that the site serves today? And how can we make a highly unsustainable concept and creation from a century ago sustainable? And lastly, what are the unique opportunities for this 409 little-known place 25 miles outside of New York City? In fact, to emphasize this best-kept secret reality of Planting Fields, most of our esteemed speakers at the symposium hadn't heard of the site until I reached out to them about a year ago to speak. So over the past year, I've had the privilege of welcoming Witold Rybczynski, John Dixon Hunt, and John Reddick to Planting Fields for their maiden visits. This event officially kicks off the Olmsted Symposium, taking place tomorrow and Friday with a dozen presentations by leading historians and practitioners in the field of landscape architecture, featuring Laurie Olin, Sarah Zodi, Patricia O'Donnell, Arlene Levy, Charles Birnbaum, Witold Rybczynski, John Dixon Hunt, and many others. And we're focusing on the private commissions of the firm. Following the symposium on Saturday and Sunday, as part of a partnership with the Cultural Landscape Foundation, we've created access to 15 sites on Long Island designed by the Olmsted Firm. These free tours are mostly sold out, underscoring the desire for access and knowledge. A guidebook was published as part of this partnership, which will memorialize this collective heritage of Olmsted on Long Island. At this time, I want to thank the Delvecchios again for this incredible opportunity to be in your home tonight to celebrate the Olmsted legacy. It's truly such an epic setting for this occasion, and they've been on a parallel journey as us in restoring this extraordinary estate, a true labor of love. And we'd like to give you a small memento of this evening. which are two signed books by our keynote speaker, John Dixon Hunt, on the making of place. A few minutes ago, I announced some of the initiatives that Planning Fields Foundation is hosting in honor of Olmsted 200. None of that would be possible, and truly none of it, without the funding from the Robert David Lyon Gardner Foundation, which awarded us an unprecedented gift for 4 Olmsted projects. These include the Symposium, the partnership with the Cultural Landscape Foundation, creating public access and awareness to Olmsted sites on Long Island, an exhibition on pioneering female photographers Maddie Edwards Hewitt and Frances Benjamin Johnson, who extensively documented the site, and finally, a long overdue publication on planting fields. Thank you, Catherine Curran, Executive Director of the Gardner Foundation, for making all of this happen, for believing in our ideas, and for really enabling us to seize this moment. We also have a gift for you. Okay, I'm almost done. A lot of people think. So we had a relatively short runway, I would say, to pull off all these Olmsted projects, and I have to thank the staff because, as most of you can imagine, this has been a major team effort, and for a relatively small team like ours, it's consumed so much of our energy for the past 2 years. So at this time, I'm going to ask Emily Legger and Lily McGurk to please stand up or raise your hand. Or are you? So these ladies have provided tremendous support for Olmsted 200 programming, thinking of every little detail and dedicating countless hours to ensure the success of this week. Thank you to other exceptional team members, Tony Barnes, John Pacini, Donna Moore-Marco, Leah Thatchell, and so many others. Finally, when the idea of this symposium started taking shape, a number of partners played a role in the planning. So I'd like to recognize and thank Dee Dee Petrie and her team at the National Association for Olmsted Parks, Anthony Reed and Brianne Cassetta from the Frederick Law Olmsted National Historic Site in Brookline, and Charles Birnbaum from the Cultural Landscape Foundation for all their support. Each of them was an important soundboard for us, and their collective expertise was invaluable to this process. So what are we going to do with our lives on April 26, 2023? We've got a little bit of time to figure that out, but I want to thank the NAOP for creating such concentration and momentum around Olmsted and an opportunity to build networks and prompting dialogue like this. And so at this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Dee Dee Petrie, President and CEO of the NAOP, to say a few words.
Well, thank you so much, Gina, and good evening, everyone. What a treat and honor it is for me to be here tonight to help kick off this remarkable symposium. And of course, we are at La Selva, but we're also at job number 6218. That's what's really important. So thank you, Gina, Emily, and the whole team that have been working so long and so hard to put this extraordinary series of discussions together. And I want to thank so many of you in this room who are making it possible, and most especially the Del Vecchios. Thank you so much for having us here at this gorgeous, gorgeous space. This symposium is part of Olmsted 200, as you've heard. This has been the 200th anniversary of the birth of Frederick Law Olmsted, the visionary reformer and landscape architect. And we are so pleased to be here because this, again, is one of hundreds and hundreds of events from coast to coast that have used the bicentennial as an opportunity to celebrate, to explore, to interrogate, and to enjoy the amazing living legacy of Olmsted and the Olmsted Firm. The National Association for Olmsted Parks is pleased to sponsor this program, and we have been honored to be the managing partner of Olmsted 200, working with 9 other stellar national partners, including the Cultural Landscape Foundation, the Frederick Law Olmsted National Historic Site, whom you've heard about. You can always tell them they're in their uniforms, as well as the Garden Club of America. And I know a number of GCA members are here tonight. And as Gina said, it was that auspicious month of March 2020 when NAOP and Planting Fields had our very first conversations about this groundbreaking seminar, and here we are. So while most individuals think of the Olmsteds as park makers, we know that their legacy is far-reaching, with nearly 6,000 projects over a 100-year period, ranging from parks to parkways to design communities, cemeteries, arboreta, special exhibits like the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition, and so much more. This symposium fulfills one of our campaign goals to expand interest and understanding of the diverse Olmsted legacy. And while the actual bicentennial is coming to an end, I want to enlist all of you to join with the National Association for Olmsted Parks in 2023 and beyond. In 2023, there's no question, we will celebrate Olmsted's 201st birthday, and all of us could pay no better tribute to Olmsted than as Planting Fields is doing in the next 3 days, dedicating ourselves to protecting, sustaining, and reimagining these great spaces which have provided us so much joy and solace in these challenging times. So again, thank you and enjoy.
Good evening. I'm Eric Kulisade. I'm the Commissioner of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation for the State of New York. And thank you for inviting me to be here tonight. My first thank you are to the Del Vecchios. I was telling Deborah earlier tonight, this is actually not my first time here. I came here 13 years ago when this property was on the market, and we were talking to Nassau County about the need to protect it, to prevent it from being parceled up into small pieces and become a subdivision. And at that time, a parkland acquisition didn't happen. And I was just saying to Deborah, and you know, it's a good thing it didn't, because you've done such a beautiful job with this place. It shows, you know, what individuals who are committed to historic preservation and to maintaining the beauty and glory of our historic assets can do. So thank you very much for what you've done with this site. Also, Hal. I want to say thank Hal Davison, Gina Wouters, and all the board of directors, including my predecessor, Bernadette Castro, Commissioner Bernadette Castro. Commissioners always, there's a special bond between commissioners. For their leadership in organizing the 200 Olmsted Symposium, but more important, for everything they do. There's so much we achieve through partnerships, and it's particularly in our historical parks and our historic sites, is because of our partnerships with groups like the Planting Field Foundation that we get so much done. And here, as Gina noted, this is a special place as one of a select few remaining intact Olmsted landscapes in New York. And with Planting Fields Foundation, we are establishing key historic features and going through preservation. This is the only Olmsted-designed landscape in the New York State Park System that's actively being preserved and revitalized. And I will say thank you to the Planting Fields Foundation and Heritage Landscapes for the work you did to develop that cultural landscapes report, working closely with us to implement it with its implementation of 9 action items and to bring back key features to this landscape. Over the past 3 years, Planting Fields Foundation has revitalized a number of Olmsted-designed landscapes, including the Carshalton Gates Vista, the Heather Garden, the currently underway, the main entrance drive, and we were just here for the West Portico 18 months ago, not very long ago. It's very exciting what we're able to do in partnership with you. You know, I sometimes think that, parks and historic sites have become accepted as for philanthropic contributions. It's not always been true, right? It's really only been something. I mean, the historic sites go back longer than that, and I just want to say thank you, everyone in this room who cares about public landscapes and who sees them as worthy beneficiaries of philanthropy and volunteerism, because we provide a landscape, we provide a platform, we provide a venue, but a lot of the life and a lot of the quality and a lot of what you get, a lot of where the public comes from, it comes from our partners, and we are eternally, eternally grateful for that. So we are glad to help host this symposium, and we are glad that Planting Fields Foundation has brought it together. Such distinguished scholars and practitioners of landscape architecture. And with that, really, I'll leave it with that. Just say thank you. Enjoy the conference. I'm sure it's going to be dynamic and in recognition of obviously one of the great seminal features in landscape architecture of all time. So have a good conference.
That's the moment we've all waited for. In early and really formative conversations about this convening, I was speaking with a dear friend, Elizabeth Sawyer Press, there you are. And at one point we were talking about potential speakers, and she said, well, I have this neighbor, and he's quite important and incredibly accomplished on this topic. And of course it was John. And so here we are. So thank you, Elizabeth, for making that connection. I couldn't think of a better way to set the stage for the symposium than with John's talk on the making of place. It's been so fun to get to know John and his wife, Emily Cooperman. Spending time with them, walking around planting fields a few months ago, really gave me new eyes to see the place with. And I believe that's what he'll leave you all with today as well with his talk. John Dixon Hunt took his BA in English Literature at Cambridge and then a PhD at the University of Bristol. For the next 30 years, he taught literature in the United Kingdom, United States, and at the Leiden University in the Netherlands, with chairs at Bedford College, Leiden, and the University of East Anglia. He's published extensively on the Pre-Raphaelites and on John Ruskin, but lucky for us, since 1988, he has devoted himself to the study of landscape design, publishing numerous books and articles on the topic. Welcome, John.